Hello, hello.
Is anybody out there? Hopefully, can you hear us? Can you hear me now? Nobody's saying anything, but I'm going to presume they can hear us. Hello out there, and I know you guys are all so excited to hear about sentencing. Right, Mike?
Yeah.
On who? Who's this person?
That would be Kim Blandino.
No, never heard of him. Okay, I've heard of him.
Wait. I had an echo. Sorry, it was my bad.
You
I
are
always
not
do it. I was
professional,
checking. Can you guys hear
obviously.
us? We need some confirmation.
Oh, yes. Tom, thank you. Somebody finally said they can hear us.
Okay, I need to get this out of the way. I know I'm taking over your channel right now, but I need to
Rude.
get this out of the way. I was doing this Kim Blandino thing, and I would go for hours, okay? And I'm bleary,
Ridiculous.
and I'm making mistakes, and I'm leaving my mic muted and stuff. But it doesn't help. They all troll me and just say like crazy stuff, like we can't hear you when they can hear you. You know,
That's not nice.
it's not
You need to find
nice.
nicer people to watch
It is
you.
funny.
You know, David Parsons will give. I'm not sure about visits between those two because they're not in the same state, so probably not. All right.
All right, sentencing.
Yes. So, Mike, I did pay attention enough to notice that he was convicted. So, good work, prosecutors.
There we go.
Gotta love some prosecutors that get a good conviction. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go
on tough charges.
Yeah, I mean,
brutal
were they?
case to prove because it's all intent stuff, and you can say, oh, it's a different perception of it. It's really hard.
Right, but when somebody puts their threats in writing, I mean, that's kind of,
or blows up in court. Did you see the in-court blow up?
When the prosecutor stood too close to the defense
Yes.
table. Yes. I don't know what I did or if it was you, but I swear I watched that whole part and then it restarted and I was watching it again.
What was going on? Oh, that's a good thing to do too. Shout out to our Nevada judges, or none of us would have seen any of it.
Yes.
What you were seeing is you were seeing a clip, and what he does. It was probably at the verdict or something. So he'll like take clips from the prior thing and just sort of use this filler like in between when they're, getting the jury in and that kind of stuff.
I was a little confused, which I mean.
So he was kind of looping that, and you were probably watching that video.
It does not take much to confuse me when I'm only half watching with my self-diagnosed ADHD. But okay, couple of things. I, in all of my extra time at lunch, looked up the statutes in Nevada.
That cracked me up.
Nerd alert. And
she needs a law nerd t-shirt. She really does.
I do need a law nerd t-shirt. So it appears that the more serious of the two that he was convicted of was the extortion. Okay.
Yes.
And it is a category B as in boy felony. And get this, shall, not may, shall be punished by imprisonment in the state prison for a minimum term of not less than 1 year. There's a mandatory minimum on this. Like, you aren't getting out of that. In our state, if there's a mandatory minimum, you're serving it. That's it. You're serving it. And you could serve more, but you aren't getting like 9 months in county. You're getting a year in the Department of Corrections.
Yeah, and that's a full conviction on that felony.
Yeah, I mean,
after jury trial,
not a plea, and you can't even plea agreement out of a mandatory minimum here. So one of our most serious mandatory minimums is on a CSE first degree if the child is under 13 and the actor is over 17. It's a 25-year mandatory minimum. No plea agreement will get you out of that. If you plead to that charge or you get convicted of that charge, you're going for 25 years at least, even if your guidelines are like, 2 to 6 years or something. So in this one, I mean, if this is the statute, NRS 205.320, threats, that's the extortion statute, Class B felony. And it's a maximum term of not more than 10 years or by a fine of not more than 10,000 years or by both fine and imprisonment. In addition to any other penalty, the court shall order the person to pay restitution. Let's talk about restitution and what it would look like for this.
Oh,
Do you
Lord.
think we get pain and suffering for having to watch it if we each send in a restitution request? I feel like we should.
I don't know. There were a lot of people watching. I thank you all for it. because I got into this, and at the end, it was like, okay, now I'm committed. I have to do this. So, for instance, we do closing arguments. They go for 3 hours. I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm committed.
insane.
I'm not walking on it. I thought I will sit here by myself if I have to.
Yeah,
But it went a long time.
it was a really intense amount of watching that I was not prepared for. So, not gonna lie, I did not watch it all. What I truly enjoyed though was him blowing up about the prosecutor walking toward his table. And he didn't even touch his table, I don't think. It didn't appear that he touched it anyway. But he was angry. And I couldn't tell at first, like, whose voice it was. Like, I thought it was the defense attorney, but then I'm like, no, it's actually the defendant. Like, you aren't supposed to be talking. Your attorney talks for you. And then the attorney somewhat backpedaled and was like, oh, he, like, the third time he leaned over, I was going to object. And then he, objected for me. So it was just interesting. But I should probably, I don't know what some of these comments are. Secret Squirrel, are you in here? You're like my only person with a wrench. And Bob has got a wrench, but that's all right. We'll figure it out. Super Secret Squirrel is in here. Hey, girl.
She was.
Yeah. She leave me? Oh,
she did.
Shoot. She better not.
Anyway. She's over watching the Jussie Smollett sentencing.
Oh,
Lord. That's going on right now. It's such a snooze. They're reading letters. It's awful.
This is why, again, live streams of a live hearing, not the most exciting. But if you can get somebody who's techie to cut it down to a good 5-minute clip, amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Ryan Blackhawk, nice to see you in here again. I'm going to scroll down and see if there's any questions. So the other charge I looked up, and that one is less of a crime, which kind of confuses me. I mean, extortion, obviously serious, right? But impersonating a public official, I would think, would have caused a little bit more of a penalty. But it's just, I believe, a misdemeanor. I'll go look in a second. And somebody was asking, do we really? Hey, Peggy, thank you. Is asking if we have to wait until July to see the sentencing. And yeah, I mean.
Well, yeah, unless you have a time machine.
Right. Gives us plenty of time to prepare, though, right? We can all make a brief to give to the judge.
You need to prepare for this incoming name drop here.
Uh-oh.
Earlier today, when I was on my stream with Ben Bateman,
the one and only,
I asked him that same thing. I said, why is it why are we doing this in July? And he said, if they're not in custody, that's typical. He said, in custody, 60 days. I'm paraphrasing, but it's more like 6 weeks, 60 days if they're in custody. 4 months, typical if they're not in custody.
So our judge is a really tight timeline on sentencings. He does not let things languish. It's basically
what judge might you be speaking of?
Well, not your favorite. I can't say our favorite because I mean I can't have favorites. Our circuit court judge, though. So the one that handles
not the esteemed Judge Middleton.
Not the esteemed Judge Jeffrey Middleton. No, but our sentencings for the circuit court judge. So this would be like similar to what if Kim Blandino were to commit these crimes in St. Joseph County and some lucky prosecutor got to deal with them. This would be in circuit court, right? So when somebody is found guilty or somebody's saying I shouldn't be surprised if Blandino sends me a nasty note for talking about his case. Hey man, it's fair game. Super Secret Squirrel. I didn't see the water spill. Can somebody clip that and make it like a short for me so that I don't have to go search?
It's in the video I sent you. I condensed the trial to 17 minutes.
All right, that's doable. I can pay attention for
17 minutes, the whole thing, including the water spill.
Okay, all the best stuff, right?
And a great edit of Kim Blandino's testimony, which is just him smacking himself mostly. It's superb, straight from us, old squishy Gardner.
Or just a single time?
Well, I mean, he only did it one time that I'm aware of, but you know, with the magic of editing, he did it lots of times.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah.
edit. I'm not an editor. I don't do well with that, so I just rely on the rest of you guys. Okay, so I didn't see any other questions. So now I'm going to go back to my Word document, my very official cut and paste of the Nevada statute.
So you're saying a 1 year minimum.
That's what it says.
All right, what do you think about this then? All right, that's the more interesting because that's gonna carry the day. The extortion charge and the 1 year minimum. That's what they're dealing with.
Yeah. The other one is a gross misdemeanor. It's so funny when they say gross misdemeanor, like ew, gross, but it's not that, right? But yeah, so that one is nothing major. I don't even know.
Well, whatever it is, they'll sentence it and it'll be concurrent and less than the other.
Exactly. So it's going to be swallowed up by whatever he gets in the extortion case. So that one wasn't as exciting.
What do you think about this though? He does. I don't have the exact numbers, but when he's fussing around before this, he ends up in contempt because he wouldn't go for a competency hearing.
Okay.
And I think he spends maybe 60 days in jail or something like that. I don't have the numbers right, but let's just say for the sake of our discussion, he spends 60 days in jail.
Gotcha.
Do you think the judge, like, let's say they say, okay, I'm going to sentence you minimum 1 year, 60 days credit.
Mm-hmm.
And they just take that off. Do you think that's how it goes down?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to get credit for it. Hold on. Thanks, Ryan. He's going to get credit for the time served. However, in cases where we have a statute that says shall be sentenced to no less than 1 year in the state correctional facility, that's not your local county jail. That's like, in our case, the Michigan Department of Corrections, where you go into the prison system. So, yeah.
So he was doing dead time, as the criminals like to say.
No, not dead time. That's different. That's like Mike, stick to civil cases.
I'm not straight enough to hang with you, Deb. I don't know. I don't know.
So think of it this way. In the Michigan Department of Corrections, when you're in prison, right, you could be at any of the prison facilities in Michigan. You're not guaranteed to get one like that's close to home. Whereas if you're in the county jail, you only get imprisoned in that county. Okay.
Right.
You also in county jail can get credit for good time. So the general credit in Michigan is for every week you get 1 day. So if you get a year-long sentence in county jail, you really end up only serving 10 months because you get credit for good time and you get your out date and you go on with your life. And sometimes you get out and go on probation. But anyway, the difference is too, and if you get on trustee, you get to wear the like orange and white stripes and be like an inmate worker, and you get extra good time. So you can maybe get out in 8 months of a 12-month sentence.
Okay.
So if you're in prison, there is no such thing as good time in prison. So you serve what you get. Now, he is going to get credit for, say, the 60 days that he has. But generally, if it says minimum 1 year imprisonment, it means he's still going to go to their Department of Corrections, but it'll just be for 10 months instead of 12 if he's got credit for those 2 months. Does that make sense?
Right.
So again, he may not be accessible to his friends and family or the lady that he takes care of to come visit in the local county jail because he's going to be in the Department of Corrections wherever they might place him.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's looking at a year.
Yeah.
I think the judge, I like this Judge Levitt who presided over the case. Mm-hmm. I think she generally makes good decisions. She is nice, but not outrageously nice, but she leans nice. You know, she's,
I mean, she got pretty upset there with the whole,
and rightfully so,
interruption of closing arguments. Like,
she went full cranky mom.
Yeah. It just like, whew, not the best look for the defendant in front of the jury or judge.
Well, I mean, he threatened the prosecutor with filing a charge when he's charged with threatening people with bad charges.
I mean,
in front of the jury.
Who would have thought that he might do that? Strange. Okay, so we have a good question here from the Bemused one. Thank you. Is there a mechanism to stop people like this from endlessly suing people? Yeah. I mean, it's exactly what you're looking at. It's the prosecution going forward with a case against them. I don't know of any particular statutes in Michigan that are similar to this extortion, besides extortion, right? But extortion of a public official or something like that. I haven't looked them up. But say you're the average Joe and you keep getting sued by your neighbor or something. If that neighbor is filing a false police report to get the prosecutor to try to take action for whatever you're claiming they did, you can be charged with the felony of filing a false felony report. So that's the only way to get these litigious people from continuing to sue.
It's not like one specific provision. It's just that your consequences build over time.
Yeah.
He's been named a vexatious litigant in Nevada. So that's one thing they can do. And that's sort of more on the civil side. And now he's got a conviction for doing this, which hurts his credibility with this sort of activity going forward.
Right. So, and that's the other thing is when people get a conviction for a crime like this, it's going to come back to haunt you if you are ever a victim of a crime, because your propensity for truthfulness, your veracity can be attacked. Your credibility can be attacked when you have crimes like this on your criminal history. And we as prosecutors are required to disclose if any of our victims or witnesses, for that matter, have these types of crimes in their history. And it can make or break a case sometimes. The person could be 100% telling the truth this time, but if they've got filing a false police report, a couple charges, or an extortion, good luck selling that to a jury.
Yep.
It's difficult.
That brings up another one I actually did want to ask you. I don't know if you're aware of this. You probably aren't. Kim, because it came up in pretrial discussions that were there, but out of the presence of the jury, because they were trying to get a prior felony of his in, and he was charged with a felony, but it's like 23 years old or something. He kidnapped his own kids. They called it violation of custody conditions, but it was a felony.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would have much impact on the sentencing? Like, I mean, just think from Michigan. I'm not even asking you to translate it to Nevada. Just like, yeah, it's a felony, so it's a big deal. So you have a prior, but it's like really kind of not related and ancient.
So in Michigan, for sentencing guidelines, if your conviction is more than 10 years old, for scoring purposes, it drops off. But the 10-year time clock starts from the last day of action in the case. So if you got just fines and costs, the day you paid off your fines and costs, the 10 years starts. If you got prison and then you got parole, when you get released from parole and all your fines and costs are paid off and you don't owe the court anything, that's when your 10 years starts.
Okay.
And if you get any sort of criminal activity in between that time, we're talking even like a misdemeanor traffic ticket or something, restarts the 10 years. So we've had a few cases recently where people are like, no, that's from forever ago. Like, yeah, well, you kept getting misdemeanor tickets in between there, so that felony stays on and it gets scored. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely does affect the sentencing. Is it something that you can mitigate as a defense attorney and say, Your Honor, yes, it was a felony, but the situation then was a very heated custody battle. It was his children. It's not as if he went and kidnapped a little Johnny off the corner that wasn't related to him or something like that. So, I mean, you can try to spin it, but it's still a felony.
No, that's interesting. So I don't think it's ancient. I don't know if he's had stuff in the interim, but I don't think that's going to make a big difference.
No.
The other issue here, I think she's going to give him 1 year. I mean, I don't know anything, and I promise I did no preparation for this.
Good. Coming in as blind as a bat.
Other than my live stream with Ben Bateman. Did I mention that?
It's kind of cheating, actually. Oh, I didn't prepare. I only just talked to the defense attorney. Like, not prepared at all, are you? Weird.
No, but I'm looking at this going, okay, he's 67 years old. I don't think he is a threat to society. He's a menace to society. I said this before. He's a menace, but not a threat. He's not going to go out and shoot somebody. Well, anybody could, and he could too. But I don't think he's a high risk for that. So I see this judge saying, I've got no other choice. You're getting a year. That's the least I can get you.
I'm just saying it says shall. So,
but you're 67. If I put you in, you're gonna be 68. I don't see her doing more than that.
Yeah, I mean, again, if his only criminal history is that, I don't foresee it being like, oh, I'm throwing the book at you. In Michigan, there's a Tanner Max named for a case. But anyway, you can only get 2/3 of the maximum as your minimum sentence. So if it was, like whatever, a 9-year, you could get 6 years. So I don't know if they have that in Nevada. But again, is this case the one that justifies throwing the book at him? I mean, he only tried to extort a little bit of money. I guess that's a mitigating factor, right? Like, I don't know.
It's that he won't stop. He sat right there after the verdict and said, "I want to serve this judge with a federal lawsuit," and then he wanted to file complaints against everybody in there.
I mean, if he thinks he's got reason to. I actually found it very funny. Like, poor Mr. Bateman, like, at the end, he's like, Judge, can I get some clarification about this grievance type stuff? Like, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. And you're like, she's like, I think you can use your discretion. I'm like, oh God, I would not. Like, he's gonna have to go through so many papers. Like, he's like gonna so many papers. And
the judge clearly likes Ben, Judge Levitt, because she's like, I know this is not fun, but I trust you to not blow up.
Yeah.
And that's why she appointed him and wouldn't let him go.
Yeah. Can you imagine like some of like the more hot-tempered attorneys that you've met over the years being the ones in charge of this circus? I mean, I feel like he did a pretty good job.
There'd be a fist fight with my client in the well. I would be in cuffs. There's no two ways about it.
I think you have a little more self-control than that. Give yourself some credit. But maybe a little bit. Gotta get to a few of these questions in Super Notes because it's so funny. So David asked if Kim can be sentenced to the chair, not the electric chair. I don't even know if Nevada has a death penalty, but like, I don't know. I was reading about a Florida case that was interesting to me. And they're seeking the death penalty, and the statute lays out like all of these specific things that have to be lined up before you can even ask for the death penalty. This is not one of those cases. Right. But somebody mentioned, the swivel chair, and I laughed because I thought that was really funny. And there's a restraint chair probably in his future. I don't know if you've ever seen the restraint chairs in a facility where they literally like, it's like a wheelchair, but like there's spots to strap down your arms and your legs. And if you're getting crazy or you're spitting at people or being nutso, they can strap you in that chair for a certain amount of time. So maybe that chair is in his future. Like if he refuses to leave the courtroom to be sentenced after he's sentenced, I don't know.
Yeah.
So that chair.
I don't think he's just not going to give up on this idea that he's right, and he's just going to keep filing things.
I'm sorry. But
I know. My hair's awful.
Comment. I mean,
Taco, I agree.
I agree. Of all the places of people that we talk to that live, you of all people should have access to 1,000 different hairstylists in the Chicago area. Literally.
Oh, okay. Okay, miss. I matched my nail polish to my shirt today.
I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, yeah. I'm
serious. My friend does them for me. Doesn't she do a good job?
That's all right. I'm down to one now.
Sharpening my claws. I'm like, hey, Kendra, I need to sharpen my claws. And she's all up and she does cute stuff. Oh. She is actually, Kendra, I'm making Kendra be on my 5,000 subscriber special because she will be with me in the sunny state, the Sunshine State. So I'm excited about that.
Good times.
A cereal sewer. That's pretty funny. Cereal sewer sounds like sewage. Kinda like that. All right. I feel like there was somebody else. I had a question. I'm scrolling down. I'm really not good. Mortimer Duke. Kim is not going to prevail on appeal, but it's not going to stop him from appealing. So in Michigan, you have the absolute right to appeal for any reason on a jury verdict. Like you just don't agree with them. You want somebody to look at it. Whereas if you were to enter a plea, you can only appeal by right. Like you have to get permission, basically. Right. So because it was a jury verdict, he's going to appeal. Like what else does he have to do, especially if he's sitting in the clink for a year?
Well, people said that in my comments are like, he's going to appeal, so we're going to have more like entertainment. I'm like, it's not going to be entertaining. There's no jury trial.
And I don't think it would even be anything that would be streamed necessarily.
Well, you might. It's plausible that they could stream oral arguments, and if they did, that would be funny. It would be funny, but it would be a panel. It'd be like really very serious, and they would put up with nothing. If he did any of the things he did, they just get him out of here.
So James Morrow made a comment. He asked if we had read the report by our Nevada judges that post-verdict, after the judge left the courtroom, Blandino told the bailiffs and Attorney Bateman he is going to contact each of those jurors. I can't imagine that they're going to be willing to talk to him. Maybe they will be. I mean, because there's nothing stopping him from talking to them. And honestly,
I think there might be that. They might have added that to the order. I'm not sure.
That he's not allowed to talk to the jurors himself.
Yes, to not contact the jurors just because specifically his offenses and what he does and his propensities. I mean, it's not like common, but I think they might have actually added that for him.
I mean, I could definitely see that. Oh, look at that. Somebody asked a question about that. We're already covering it. So thank you, Rebecca Lynn. I don't know. If there is a court order that he is not to, I could see that being something that is immediately brought to the judge's attention as a bond violation. And he is no longer on his little ankle bracelet. He's sitting in custody until sentencing in July. So I would hope that if he values his liberty, as they say, right, that he wouldn't do that, because it's going to be a bond violation if he violates the court order. So, I mean, he hasn't seemed to care about court orders until now, but now there's actually jail time that is going to happen.
I was shocked that none of this occurred to him, though. That verdict, it could just be bluster and the heat of the moment. So I can't. It doesn't always sink in for people. I've been through trials. You've been through trials. It doesn't always sink in. Some people get it immediately and have that sort of reaction. Some people don't get it, and 3 weeks later, like, okay, now I get it. So that's even possible. But he had not accepted that he's done anything wrong yet.
Gotcha. Squirrel, thanks for putting the question up. Asked by Timothy Garcia, can a prosecutor use all his pretrial nonsense, 3 years worth, against him at sentencing? Yeah. I mean, it's one of the factors that if there is a reason to believe, preponderance of evidence, that these things occurred and it relates directly to the sentencing offense, yeah, I think, I would bring it up if I were the prosecutor, unless there's some court rule or statute that prevents it. I mean, when you say nonsense,
it's funny. I don't deal with sentencing, so it's even though I was prosecutor,
anything is fair game with sentencing. It seems like the victims get to speak, which, okay, I really hope the judge speaks at sentencing, because that's the type of victim that is going to be impactful when the judge hears it. Now, the judge is probably going to have an idea of what she's going to do anyway, but can you imagine having to go up against that with allocution? Like, okay, so, I mean, Bateman's going to have to come up with something good to try to. Somebody asked if there could be a suspended sentence. Maybe. Again, I don't know Nevada's sentencing guideline rules, but
don't give him ideas. That's the one thing I could see is him trying some medical stuff. I'm 67. Now I've got a condition. Don't put me in. That routine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people do kind of try to use that. It was actually, Joey, I can't talk about our cases, but it's not my case. But I heard that somebody had COVID for like the 8th time again. Like, come on, man. Like,
right.
You should be in some sort of a program that the government is figuring out why you keep getting it, is that's how you stay out of trouble. But
an anti-COVID program.
Yeah, like, oh gosh, this guy must have some sort of genetic predisposition to getting it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got on comments here. I can see the wheels turning in your head, Mike, that you're reading comments. It's hard to keep up with these, so
I will be right back.
Are you out of your Truly, or are you getting a White Claw?
Oh, don't sell me out, Deborah.
Don't call me Deborah. It sounds like my grandma's like yelling at me or something.
It's a water.
Oh,
water.
whatever.
You know it's a water.
You know what?
I
Have
should
you
fix my hair.
I heard that can popping, but listen, have you ever had canned water?
Not that I recall.
I had not until I stopped at a rest stop circa 1999, maybe 2000. And I really just wanted a water. I was driving home from the northern part of Michigan. I was by myself. Just like, stop, use the restroom, get a water. The only water available was canned water from the vending machine. And it creeped me out. I don't know. I bought it, but then it was like,
was it awful?
It was weird. It was like you were drinking pop, but it wasn't flavored and there was no carbonation. It was weird. So anyway,
you got through it.
Opening of your can reminded me of that. Oh, look, old dog gave me some money for goat feed because he just bought some yesterday.
Oh.
Have you heard from T-Bone lately? Side note. Do you remember T-Bone used to always be on commenting?
Me?
Yeah. And you're like, T-Bone. T-Bone, have not seen anything from him, and now I'm worried. Like, I'm going to be like, I know his real name now because he sent me those clippers for my sheep.
Oh.
Like the sweetest thing ever. When
right, whoever knows T-Bone, tell us somewhere.
He's out in Oklahoma.
Somebody or something.
All I'm going to say is he's out in Oklahoma, but I'm worried about him. Now I'm like, should I go like searching obituaries? I'm freaking out. Like, I want to thank him properly for sending me the set of shears for my sheep.
Oh.
So
you know what I got today from viewers? You wouldn't know because you didn't.
Dog poo.
You did not watch my video with me and Ben Bateman, but
no, because I was working, saving lives.
No, truly, my viewers are the funniest. They sent me, and it looks exactly the same. It's an ascot. Just like Kim Blandino's.
No.
I'm not kidding. Somebody said, they put it in the comments. I'm like, no, you didn't. Yeah. And I haven't been in my office for a few days because I was doing this stupid thing. So I went down there, I had a stack of mail like this. I have Yesenia's down there telling me to do stuff, you know. I go in there, there's a package, and I'll be damned, there's an ascot that looks just like Kim Blandino's.
So that reminds me, I am the worst YouTube person ever because Pursuit of Happiness. I know your real name, but I'm not going to say it. If you're in here under a different name, you can let me know. They sent me a shirt that was a Law Talk with Mike shirt for me to sign easily 3 months ago. No, not 3, because I haven't been doing this for that long. Maybe 2 months, maybe a month and a half ago. I was like, yeah, I'll sign it. But then I thought, I'm going to be cute and I'm going to like make, because I have a Cricut, you can like make t-shirts and like, you know, screen print stuff. And I was like, I'll put a warrant authorized by and then a line for me to sign and Deborah Davis. And I have this anxiety over screwing the shirt up. So I finally got that part of it on. But now I have anxiety over which Sharpie, which color to use, which type of Sharpie, how thin, because I don't want to ruin this guy's shirt. So
no, you can't ruin it. Just do it.
Bite the bullet and sign it. Because I'm like, what if I use like a purple Sharpie, but then that one comes off in the wash more than a black Sharpie? I don't know. I don't Sharpie shirts.
I don't know, Deborah. I don't
get his shirt done.
I don't think he's washing it after you sign it.
Oh.
That's good stuff right there.
Well, like, should I spray it with perfume or something? Like,
right. And now it's been discussed on your channel. What could be better?
I know, right? I mean, so sorry, man. Your shirt is safely at my house, still hanging out, just waiting. He even sent like an envelope to send it back in. And I am that anxiety ridden over this that I have.
James says silver Sharpie. I don't know.
No, I don't think silver's going to work. It's not going to show up. It's a white shirt. So really, the world is my oyster as far as colors to use on it. I used black for the warrant stuff. So whatever. I'm going to go home and just do it. And whatever happens, happens. So, man, if I ruin your shirt, I'm sorry.
Then we'll figure out another one. No big deal.
Yes. I mean, those shirts are a dime a dozen. Just kidding. I mean, I don't know how much you charge for them. I haven't looked at your swag page. My sister does t-shirts and like has a pretty good little side business doing it. Super cute stuff. And I just need to like talk to her and get some cute shirts around. Maybe on my vacay when I'm sitting on the beach, I'll like, pick out something for her.
We should figure something out because I get so many good ideas from my viewers about those things. Oh. But it's like you're busy and then like you run over and you don't get to it,
Yeah, it's like always a to-do list that's a mile long. Judy says that the Bateman said that the judge did make that order. So, hey, jurors, if you're out there watching this, make sure you tell if he tries to contact you
is
or
that
has somebody contact you.
Is that the Judy who put me in touch with Ben?
I don't know.
It was a Judy.
Hey, there's a Ben M in here. Not the Ben
on IG. She comes on and she's messaged me. She's like, "Hey, I'm chatting with Ben. Do you want to talk to him?" And I just type back, "Hell yes."
Oh, you better hope that she didn't mind some, naughty language there.
Within a couple hours, Ben and I are having a good old time on the StreamYard. Why not?
You collect friends like stray cats.
Yeah.
Kind of like me. I get it. Do you think that Kim can be allowed to wear an ascot while in the Who Scout? That is a funny word, and I like it, and I want to start using it. So I'm going to have to write that down.
That's an old classic.
No, I'm pretty sure that it's whites or nothing. So you better have white underwear and white t-shirt. Some old dude. Hey, some old dude. You're on here quite often. Will Kim flee the state? Try to adopt a new identity? I mean, it would cross my mind. No, I wouldn't flee. I would serve my time, but then I might just peace out, go find myself a nice warm state to reinvent myself
that's the thing too with all this. I wanted to this whole time it all started. The video that I started with was what Ben was trying to talk him into a plea deal. I never heard the terms of that plea deal, but I can almost guarantee you
it was a no jail.
It was nothing. It was admit you're wrong, take a conviction on jaywalking, we don't care, but admit that you have to stop this and let us convict on freaking anything, and you go.
Yeah, I mean,
I bet that was the deal.
Any conviction is better than no conviction in some of these because you're going to have a real painful jury trial for these poor people. But they did it.
I watched that painful jury trial.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a lot of watching. But David is suggesting a Blandino law so that this doesn't happen, which I think you're talking about the litigious people that are filing these frivolous suits.
That's what's hard. You really can't just do it that simply without running over the Constitution. You think, oh, I don't like this behavior. So I guarantee you, go try to draft it, and I will tell you why it's unconstitutional. 10 seconds later.
And this is an amazing idea. Well, I name one of the kids after Mike. Just to be clear for anybody who's new here, not my own children that I birthed, my goat kids. I mean, the odds are we're going to have a
goat named Mike. Triplets. I would be so honored.
I would totally. I will have to talk to the kids because I let them name the goats. But I'm thinking they like you too. They like watching Harper, especially. My daughter's just like, oh, you're doing it with Mike. You're doing a live stream. Oh. I'm surprised they're not on here bombing my comment section. I probably shouldn't say the word.
Well, you saw when Derek Wyatt's daughter got on.
Yes, that was.
He was watching her. Yeah, and then she takes over, and he's like, "I gotta go deal with my German Shepherd."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you know me. I'm a father. I've had daughters, right? Yeah. So meanwhile, I'm face to face with this 3-year-old who's really cute.
Hey, girl, what's
opening my stream? I'm like, hey, what's up?
Right? I don't know if your dad knows that you're in here talking to me and 500.
Derek doesn't care. Friends, He's wild. He's just like, oh, how was she? Yeah, all right, let's talk.
Yeah. I saw that Artie is in here. I should send him a link.
Send him a link.
Let me see if I can manage to do this without screwing.
Natalie was around earlier, but I don't see her.
Natalie, where are you?
Oh, that was another good one. Natalie popped on one of mine one of my streams to nowhere when I was waiting for the verdict. God bless her for it because it was beautiful. But she hadn't seen the court freak out. I need to chop that up because the first time she sees when the prosecutor goes over there and Ben has to tell Kim, the first time she sees that, I mean, her face is priceless. She's like, ah.
That is funny. I think this is Artie's email. I thought I saved his number, but apparently I didn't.
Artruxes.
Yes, got it. Artie, if you want to be part of the cool kid club, get on here. You go for it. I should invite Natalie too. We'll give her a little shout here. Oopsie.
I do that not all the time, but on a lot of my streams, I'll just invite you guys and like not tell anybody or anything.
Well,
And like
I get a message like, "Oh, that was 4 hours ago."
yeah,
Whoopsie.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm like,
well.
I don't care.
I
I'm like,
appreciate it. It's like a
great,
courtesy
you know?
invite, and I'm okay with that. So I do have to at some point go home and eat dinner with my family because hey, I'm going with Keeping It Criminal tonight. Finally. I think that they were one of the first besides you that reached out to me to try to get me on. And I'm like, yeah, my schedule is terrible.
With
But
Kick
let's do
tonight?
it. Yeah. So Taco was in here a little bit ago, you know, he like
Yeah.
give a little bit of love there. But yes, I will be going on there at 9 p.m. And they didn't prep me. Like, I feel nervous about this. Again, here comes that anxiety. Like, what are you going to
Don't
ask
worry
me?
about it.
Do I need to
Your
plan
nails match your
something?
shirt. What could go wrong?
Well, if I change my shirt, maybe I should. I can't have 2 live streams with the
That's
same
an issue.
shirt on.
Then gloves.
They're gonna be
You
like,
gotta
oh,
wear
is that
gloves.
your only shirt? I know. I'm just saying. It's like
You could have hair like this. Think about that.
That is true.
It is. It's awful. I need a
Things
haircut.
could be worse. It's okay. Just kidding. All right.
It's making me nuts now because it won't look. It doesn't cooperate. I've got hair like Kim Blandino. It just doesn't cooperate.
Maybe if you put an ascot on your hair, will cooperate. Just try it.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Where is your ascot?
I will fix all this right here now.
That fixed it, I guess.
It's all under control. There's what
Mike would close his cam up, but we can. Oh, that was a while ago. Yeah, Squirrel. Like, he's not smart enough to push that old mute button when he's popping his can open. We'll get him there. He says, I'm the newbie. Water in a can is normal some places? Okay. What? How do you do that?
I will take my...
All right. I got to scroll down. I know there's a few more that I haven't touched. Where are you? Yes, I need mods. Squirrel, where you at, girl? You're my mod. People are asking me my mod, but I don't know you guys yet. Like, yeah, this is so much stress.
Where's Debbie Fez?
I don't have one.
The Debbie Fez. She has to be more dignified than me.
Oh, Randy, thanks for ice cream for my sweet babies. You mean like the goats? Because they do eat ice cream. They too. I had a client that super sweet. And again, this is not related to my criminal work because people get like, we can't accept gifts in our criminal law work, like not appropriate. Right. But I still have my civil practice, like when I do deeds and things like that. And one of my clients who I adore, him and his wife, he works in the ice cream industry. Mm-hmm. I did not realize to what extent his ice cream ability to procure things was. He gave us this box of ice cream on dry ice, Ben & Jerry's, like little bitty ones, which are cool because if you just want a little bit.
Yeah.
All the way up to like the Big Daddies, and my kids went crazy. They were so excited. I think they ate
that is really cool.
That day. And I sent a picture to him of the like 3 kids like lined up eating. He's like, "Oh, thanks. Sorry, I ruined your dinner." I'm like, "No, like this is dinner. Good, go for it." I mean, they were delicious. But thank you.
Well, now I feel bad. Speaking of dinner, I didn't realize you have another stream. We did this.
No, I know.
It's all good.
Like, it'll be like a half hour. It'll be a half hour, like maybe. All right, hold on.
Here's what's happening. 1 year sentence. It's the minimum she can do. That's what she will do.
No, it's the minimum she has to do.
Right.
We'll see. Did I see any of his testimony in narrative form? Okay, so yes, people try to testify in narrative form because it's just human nature, I think. And sometimes you get an objection to it. Sometimes it's like, okay, just like I'll break it up once in a while if they're droning on. It's like, oh, let me stop you. Let's talk about that more. But I did watch some of his testimony, but it was kind of painful, to be honest. Like there was a video that they were playing and then he was like talking over the video. Yeah. So I don't know how effective that really was with, Oh, somebody suggested he's a black Sharpie. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, Sheila. Kids is for the sharing for goats and dogs. Thank you. I don't have any dogs, so hopefully you're okay if it's just like goats and cats and sheep and chickens, rabbits. But yes, I will get them some treats.
I need to see a picture of this shirt now.
I know. I was actually just gonna
let me see what the signature. Just take a snap of it
and say, I'm so sorry that I took 2 months to get the courage to just sign your shirt. And if I screw it up, I screw it up, and I'm sorry. So Starbucks. Nice. All right. So black it is. I feel like that's pretty plain, and maybe I should have done the warrant requested or authorized by in a different color, but hey, it's too late now. It's on the
How about a
shirt.
glitter pen?
Oh, that'll come off. Do you remember puffy paint back in the day? Like that was
No.
like the okay, fine. It was
Puppy
the
paint?
thing when you were doing fabric personalization. So
Oh,
it's
I'm a
like with
boy.
tubes. Boys could do it too. I don't know. You never at summer camp did puffy
I,
paint shirts?
I don't know what's going on over there in St. Joseph County, but
I feel
up in
personally
Grand
attacked
Traverse
right
County,
now, but
you might get your butt kicked for something like that. You know what I'm saying?
it was the 90s, so anything went, right? Well,
us,
Astro Geek.
us
Well,
old Northwoods boys don't look
Where,
kind of
oh, the
as
Traverse City. Yeah, you aren't that Northwoods in Traverse City, please. Oh, the bailiff told Blandino if he harassed the Jersey, put him in jail himself. I mean, those bailiffs look like they were not messing around. What I felt like they kept like getting closer and closer as the verdict was going to be read. Like they were ready to pounce on him if he did anything crazy.
I think all the bailiffs whose calls ended went over to see the show afterwards
Right.
because
Like, why
they were
wouldn't you?
more
You
than
know
enough.
people are watching it, right? There are times like when there was a big verdict, like in a murder case or something in our county, the courtroom would be packed, like attorneys, the sheriff, like whoever was in the courthouse, they would come and watch because it is a big deal. I mean, with those cases,
You know
it's
what?
like life in prison.
Even in Chicago, I was trying a case and I would put an expert on, and it was like later in the afternoon, and there was
Mhm.
nothing good. It was nothing exciting. I'm sitting thinking it's the next witness in my case,
T-Bone's
and
alive! I'm sorry, I just interrupted you.
what's that?
Oh, T-Bone, he's alive, and he was like,
T-Bone.
Don't send me money. You already sent me like clipping shears, which are like way better than cash. That was really cool.
Oh, okay. Now I do
But
remember seeing T-Bone.
yeah, T-Bone, I'm glad that you're still around, buddy. You made me nervous by not being around for a while, or I don't know if you
That's
like
not cool.
switched your name or what. But don't give me that heart palpitation, worrying that somebody is gone. All right, sorry, I totally interrupted what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying.
All I'm saying is court personnel get bored and they'll go to the next most interesting thing, which may not even be that interesting, but just the most interesting thing on that particular Tuesday. You might have fill a courtroom.
Yeah.
Even in Cook County, even in the middle of the city, the people are like, yeah, let's go down there and see what this expert's going to say. Yeah, why not? You know,
Courthouse is open, people. Come on in. Goat Mike will need a fez. Should we call him Mikey? Because I don't want him to get confused with you. Like little Mikey. That'd be so cute. Little Mikey.
Little goat fez.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to get a goat fez. Let's see.
You never thought you were going to need a goat fez.
No. Mm-mm.
And I do think you should change the thumbnail to goat fez right after this video.
Yes, I probably should.
And let people figure that out.
They're like, what are you actually talking about? Just a goat fez. All right, come on. There's another comment. Old Squishy Gardner. Hey, he hasn't sent me any videos, but I hear he's like your hot spot of video.
Old Squishy Gardner is an absolute lunatic. We're on IG. We talk all the time, and he just and he like he's crazy as me, and he just like watches court videos constantly, and like, but he sends them to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm losing my mind, but I did a bunch of them. They all did well. And then he's like, no, do this one. I'm like, no, that video's too serious. It sucks. I can't do that. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm out. I'll just do it. And then people watch it. And I'm like, okay. I trust
he knows what he's talking
more
about.
than mine at this point.
Yes. Savvy's asking what she thinks he or she, can't tell, is a very random question. Wondering if they say all rise in Michigan. Sometimes the bailiffs do and sometimes they don't. But like today in circuit court, Judge Stutzman like came in. So we all stood up. And then he's like, be seated. We all sit down. Well, he had forgotten his coffee. He thought it was in there. So he's like, walks back out. So we all stand back up again. And it was just, I don't know. It's funny because it's a showing of respect. But he's also like, seriously, you just did this like 2 seconds ago. I just
right.
coffee and I'm back. And
yeah, but you guys want to err on that side.
So yes, Traverse City cherries. Oh, thank you. You love my channel. My channel is so random. I'm sorry in advance to anybody who thinks that they're getting like a strictly one type of content, because you're not. You're going to get random So
This was awesome.
yeah, this was fun. I really enjoyed this. And I'll skim through here. I was like, let's just do like half hour maybe, and we're here at 49 minutes. Mike's a chatterbox. Oh, look, see, Barbara already $5 for the goat fez. That will totally get me a goat fez. I can just tell already.
I think that's enough to cover a goat fez.
Mm-hmm.
I believe my fez was about $5.
Where do you get that? Like, I'm assuming
I ordered it
in here. Look at you. Haven't seen you in a while. I guess that's not true. I've seen you in other streams. I haven't talked to you in a while.
And Unclean Hands is here. That's awesome.
Yes. Yes, keep them on their toes. I keep people on their toes sometimes, I tell you. All right. Well, Mike, at the risk of ruining how fun and wonderful this has been, we should probably wrap it up. I'm going to go home and eat with my family. And then 9 o'clock, head over to Keeping It Criminal.
I will stop by
nice to me.
if I haven't passed out.
Too hard about, questions that I don't know the answer to.
You did great tonight. I'm still laughing because I suggested this to her. I'm like, well, I want to talk about sentencing, and then like an hour later she texts me back, do you have the exact code provisions? I'm like, I don't know about code provisions.
No, I need to know what statute it is because I want to know what I'm talking about. So I looked it up myself. I didn't need you. I looked it up myself. And
you figured it all out.
Figured it out. So I'm hoping that extortion one is in fact the actual statute because it does have that 1 year mandatory minimum.
Yep.
So.
I think that's what's going to happen. 1 year sentence here.
Hold on before we go. Right. David is like on fire tonight. Goat ascot. I feel like that would actually go over better with the goats than the fez because I last year had some collars because we use dog collars for the goats. I mean,
right.
Maybe somewhere they make actual goat collars, but they're those dog collars that have like the little flag, like bandana thing on the front. Could make an ascot out of that real easy.
Oh,
so it'll be fun. Anyway, thank you, seriously, everybody that was here tonight. Hopefully, it was inspirational to you. It's what we aim for, inspiration. Or just entertaining. That's probably more so are leading everybody to. But all right, so next time I'll have a goat with an ascot or a fez or both. Maybe.
Sounds good.
And you keep me informed about anything else in the happenings because if he gets rearrested on a bond violation, it would make a pretty
I'm there.
fun time.
I'll send you the bat signal. Absolutely.
Yes. Hey, Bill. Thank you. I appreciate it. So. All right, guys. Oh, Secret Source going to bed, other side of the world. They got different hours. But thanks again, everybody. Take it easy. Stay safe. And we'll see you next time.